In the various response options on the previous slides, the focus was mainly on the need for us to adapt how we respond to people who are disorientated in time due to impaired memory. Now, we're moving on to another area that influences people's responses, namely how they're feeling in the moment. If we were to be asked to recall a specific time when our memory let us down, and what we were thinking and how we were feeling in that moment, I suspect that those thoughts would generally be self-critical, and the feelings would range through worry, frustration, embarrassment, even shame. For those of us with a normal memory, thankfully these kinds of thoughts and feelings are only occasional. But for someone with dementia, they can become a part of their everyday experience. So how we respond can have a major impact on that person's feeling of self-worth, on their mood, and on their general well-being. So when your relative reacts in an unusual way, either to an event or to something you've said to them, try if you can to work out how they might be feeling as a clue to how best to respond. Remembering that an angry or accusatory reaction might be a way of trying to protect themselves against deeper feelings such as frustration, fear, shame. In the next 2 slides, I'm going to give you a couple of real examples from my experience of working with the husband of a lady with dementia. Let's call this couple John and Anne. They were both in their 80s, and Anne had Alzheimer's disease and by now quite a significant level of memory impairment. John described how when Anne said she had lost her glasses and he suggested that she wear them on a cord around her neck, she reacted angrily and quite aggressively towards him, which was quite out of character for her. So what might Anne's thoughts be in that moment? This experience of losing things that she needs is now probably happening to her multiple times in her day. She might be thinking that John keeps moving her glasses, a very common thought, you'll agree, when we can't find things. And she must be so frustrated. John's advice is very sensible and coming from a good place. But maybe in that precise moment, Anne needs him to sympathise with her frustration. Oh, how annoying for you! And to have a sense that he will help her. Let's see if I can find them. After which, she might be quite accepting of his advice to use a neck cord. John's second example was having told Anne that it wasn't realistic to plan a visit to their son Peter, who lived with their daughter-in-law and grandchildren in Australia. The background to this is that they had enjoyed many happy holidays with them in the past. This time, if we look at Anne's thoughts and feelings in the moment, they're positive, maybe even excited in anticipation of a trip. She is living on an earlier page in her album of memories and is happy. Maybe she doesn't believe John's response as it doesn't make sense in her reality and just thinks he's being obstructive. Or maybe she does take his response on board and it brings her out of her happy place to a less pleasurable reality. Either way, is there a better alternative? This is a good example of when using reminiscence as a distraction technique, as in the previous slides, it could work really well. John could have said something along the lines of, "Oh, I do love our trips to Australia. Do you remember that time when?" And maybe he could have set the scene for an hour or 2 of happily looking at photos of past trips. So that was just a few slides to get us thinking about how, for all of us, our thoughts and feelings colour how we interpret things that people say to us and therefore how we react. People with dementia are no different in this, but the day-to-day experience of living with dementia is creating new challenges for them. We'll have another short break here to see if there are any questions and further discussion points.